Italian job?
Feeling good, Tommy boy. How you doing, man?
Man, I'd lie if I said it was great. I'm subpar. I'm suboptimal, only because of I think the flu. Thank goodness it's not COVID. Anybody out here who's dealt with it, God bless you, because it's that's not easy either. But at the end of the day, I'm vertical. I'm above topsoil, which means it's a great day. I'm a firm believer in any day is a gift when we wake up to it. So I have a gift of a day. It's up to me to make it the great that I can. So I'm laying a little bit low, but I'm honored to be with you as always. And more so, I'm blessed to be with our guests. We'll get into that just a minute. In the meantime, how are you? And give me your one up and your one down, and I'll reciprocate.
I'm well. And I did want to say, you do look a little bit puny today. You know, I'm looking at you. And you're not looking so great, man. So I'm just kidding. You're looking great, brother. I'm always honored to spend an hour with you or 20 minutes or whatever it takes today. Yeah, it's been a great week. My kids got to see snow. And, you know, one of our guests sees snow every single day because he's in the middle of the country where this time of year he's going to see it. But for us Carolinians, I mean, my son, who is 2 years old, has never seen enough snow that he can sled on. We had that this week. So that was awesome. My daughter was stoked that she got the sled. So one up, man, it was just so cool to be able to be a kid with my kids on Monday and play around in the snow. One down, it's kind of a buzzkill this time of year because you feel discouraged when you post and there's like maybe 4 guys or maybe 5 guys and you're used to big crowds. And the guys get discouraged. They get disheartened. They think, you know what? Am I doing something wrong? No, you're not doing anything wrong. When the temperatures are in the teens, a lot of the guys are not used to that. And it's a whole lot easier to stay in the fart sack. So I want to encourage you men out there who are seeing your numbers drop off because it's cold or it's snowing or it's icy or it's just nasty. That's par for the course this time of year. Unless you're in a region of the country that flourishes in those cold temperatures where the guys show up in full force, the colder it is, the more guys they get. Good on you. But for some of those guys who aren't used to that weather, don't be discouraged if there's only a handful of you guys there. I'm queuing tomorrow morning. I don't anticipate there being more than 2 or 3 guys because the temperature is going to be in the teens and maybe a little bit of snow on the ground. So that's a long way of saying, hey, things are good. They could always be better, but you know what? It's a blessing today. Like you said, you said today's a gift. And I like to say there's nothing better than a gift. It's a present, like a Hallmark card. So Tommy boy, I'm tossing it back to you. Give me a one up, one down.
Yeah. I'm going to sound like I'm on a broken record. Got to have a heck of a great time last weekend with the 2.0s. There's a hill in F3 Greensboro that I hate, because it's really, really hard and steep and it sucks often. But when the snow and sleet falls, it turns into a really wicked snowing hill. And ironically, we call that hill Wicked's Folly because it was F3 Wicked that first introduced this hill to us. It leads up into a cemetery, which is apropos because had sledding gone awry, we wouldn't have had far to bury the bodies. Fortunately, we had a great day out in the snow. Like you, yeah, numbers drop, right? And when times get tough, the tough get going, right? So I will echo your statement. Guys of F3, there's a million different excuses not to get up and post at 5:30 in the morning. Winter just gave you maybe one more. So swat it down, ignore it, put your boots on. Pro tip, put your gear out the night before. Erase one more excuse off of your board and get up and get after it. And if you think that's just crap talk, whatever, it's not. Anything that allows you to be better that day is paid forward in spades to the people who are looking up to you. You have a wife, a partner, a girlfriend, whatever, children looking up to you. And think about your kid going to kindergarten, first grade, whatever grade that day, and saying, my dad got up super early today and did a bunch of hard stuff with his friends. And I can only hope to aspire to something like that. So fellas, get up and get after it. And in that vein, here's the run of the mill for today's podcast. We're talking about communication. the things that we say matter because somebody is always listening. I remember my mom used to always say when I would go out with my friends, remember, somebody's watching, somebody's listening. And I used to think that was a threat from my mom until I got a little bit older, probably the age post-marriage, pre-children. And I realized that my mom saying somebody's always watching doesn't mean they're out to get me. It means that what I do and what I say is being witnessed by somebody else and has the ability, the capability to positively impact their life. So that's a big way to say what we're talking about, but I don't want to underscore what we're talking about because what we're talking about is communication. So we've got two guys who are impact players across the F3 universe because they are good and they care a heck of a lot about communication. Anybody who's read Q Source knows the power of communication. The words that we use carry weight. So I'm going to hand it over to you, IJ, and I want you to introduce our guests and let's cut through the rigmarole of who they are, how they got their name, because I love that kind of story, that backstory, and then we'll get into the topic.
So we are almost doing a superhero unmasking today. We are letting you guys who are listening and watching see behind the curtain. You've seen the Twitter account for the Nation, the Nation's official Twitter account. You've seen the Nation's official Instagram account. You've seen the Facebook updates and those posts, and you never know who's behind the scenes on those. So today I'm going to introduce you guys to Squid and Triple Threat, and we'll go one by one to find out a little bit of information about them as to who they are in the Nation, what do they do, and some pointers for what works, what may not work, and some ideas for your local comms guys. A lot of folks confuse comms and say, oh, that's our IT guy or that's our communication guy. We're talking about social media communications, what works, what doesn't work, some pointers that you can take home to your local region. And I'll start off because he's on the left side of my screen. Squid, tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And then what's your role with the Nation? And how did you get the name Squid? So use it in any order you want to go, and I'm going to toss it to you, sir.
All right. So I originally started F3 over in Louisville, but I am from the Evansville area where I'm currently living. When I was over in Louisville, started out in September of 19. So I've been doing it this a little over a couple years. I was fired up right away. Loved every minute of it. Started out not too long after got in. I was a site Q. Then Louisville asked me to be comms Q over there. And then as things progressed, Nation reached out. And so been able to have a part there as well. Got my name because I was in the Navy. Spent 6 years in the Navy. And so I was in the circle, and I also work at a cat dealer. So they're throwing around some different names, and Dozer came out, and they're like, yeah, no, not happening. And some other stuff floated around. They were trying to come up with Navy terms, and they weren't coming up with a whole lot. So they floated out two potential ideas. They had Squid, and they had Seaman as their options. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, my gosh, for all that is good in this world, please call me Squid. Didn't say a word because I had an idea of how it was going to go if I tried to plead for one thing or another. And thankfully, I landed as Squid, and I'm happy to wear the name proudly.
So Seaman, what do you do for the Nation? What's your role?
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. So I'm a part of the team that runs the Twitter handle. So a lot of the stuff that you see in the Twitterverse comes from me.
All right, Squid. I now that I know that, I'm going to try my darndest for the rest of this to call you Squid. His name is Squid, Tommy Boy. Squid, not the other S. It is Squid. Okay, I'm saying that out loud.
The great thing about Squid, right off the bat, is that he is impregnating great ideas across the Nation.
Well, he's pretty sticky. He's going to stick around for a while. All right, this is inappropriate banter.
Good.
Triple Threat, get us back on track. Tell us about yourself, sir.
So my name is Triple Threat. I'm out of the F3 Houston region. I came about F3 whenever I was climbing out of a pretty dark hole. in my life about July 2017. So I've been with F3 for about 4.5 years. I recognized that I needed something to help prevent me from going back into that hole. So I was looking for, a men's group, like some fellowship. Also, I was out of shape. And July 2017, I saw the Art of Manliness podcast that Dread and OBT were a part of. And after I listened to that, I was like, that's what I want to do. And so I showed up to the next Saturday workout, and I've been doing it ever since.
So how'd you get the name Triple Threat?
So how I got Triple Threat, it's definitely not because I have any sort of prowess in any sort of ball sports like basketball, soccer, football. It's none of that. Actually, I'm terrible at sports. And it's not because I'm good, even though I'm actually better at singing, dancing, and acting. It's not because of that. It's because after my wife and I tried for baby number 3, it came out as triplets.
Ooh.
So I got the name Triple Threat. So I have 5 kids. Sometimes, you have a very potent male and a very fertile female, and bam, you can spontaneously get multiple babies at one time.
Fantastic. Triple Threat, what do you do for the nation's communication team?
So I manage the nation's Instagram account, and some of those posts flow into Facebook. But really my job for the nation is to spread the message of F3 and also to help initiate the EHing of men through social media. That is my main job. That is my role.
Awesome. So Tommy boy, I think now based on the feedback and just what we heard from these 2 high impact men, why they are part of the nation. They get the culture and they understand the power of a message. And both of them were influenced by hearing it somewhere, and now they want to share that message across the social mediums. So that's why these guys are part of that team. Tommy boy, I've said a lot. Do you have any questions you want to start off with these guys?
I do. Squid, as a kid raised by a Navy guy, my hat's off to you, because I'm blessed to call my dad who my dad is, right? I'm just lucky to be born into that lineage. So thank you for your service, but also thank you for braving my biggest fear, which is open water in the dark. Triple Threat, as an improv guy, I applaud you for for putting the gift of whatever this could be, is how I often describe it, into the world, because that's terrifying. And so I also equate you to one of the bravest men out there, because it's tough to put what we feel in here in our heart out into the world. And as an actor, as you are, as I am not, I'm just an improv guy. I love seeing that look, the glint in people's eyes when they realize that just an idea inside their heart to be put out into the world matters, which ties into my question. Because a lot of men out there who are new to F3, a lot of regions out there who aren't yet, and I underscore yet, because it will happen, showing up on the Twitter sphere, showing up on the SWT podcast. They're not yet being bragged about, but they will. All they need is that spark. So what makes a message an effective message? When a guy has something on his heart that he wants to share, like, I love this F3 thing, I want to put it out there. For me, it was, I was brand new to F3 Greensboro, and I heard all these great guys telling us really cool things they were doing: blood drives, additional workouts, a run, a 5K, whatever. I just was like, we should put this in a newsletter. So I did a thing, right? And all I wanted to do was share what guys had on their hearts. Now, having something on your heart and sharing what's on your heart are 2 different things. So I'll repeat the question. What makes for an effective message?
Squid, do you want to go first?
Go ahead first. Yeah, I'll take it. That's fine.
Hey, not everybody at once. Let's all calm down.
That's right. No, I think that there's a couple of different ways to get there. I think that there's always the opportunity to be funny, to kind of stir a little bit of controversy, or fun ways to get some notice. but also be real, be vulnerable and be willing to share what's going on in reality, in your life, whether you've got something hard that's going on or something that you really enjoyed, or you got up in the morning and you did something really stupid with a bunch of guys in crazy weather. Share it, and it's amazing how much attention some of that starts to gather. And so I think that, there's really from that side of it, there's nothing that's going to be, of those are all the right answers. There's, vary that content. There's a lot of different stuff to share.
By you, Triple Threat?
So for me, I try to take a very calculated approach to this. So whenever I create a post, create a message, I really look at what I'm trying to accomplish out of it, and who this message is directed to. So, whenever you send out a post, you're either trying to motivate the troops, trying to get the packs to go out and post, or you're trying to get that FNG, that sad clown who is looking for something, like I was at one time, to get out and join a workout. So that's the first thing I take a look at. What do I want to have happen whenever somebody looks at it? And then two, how do I want to connect with that person? Like, what's the feeling that you want to have that person feel? And one of the memes that I did the one with Forrest Gump, right? I thought it was a great time to post about how gyms get really full at this time because everybody's trying to work on their New Year's resolutions. Hey, maybe they might take a chance on working out outside with the guys of F3. So, hey, if the gyms are full, you always have room for you at F3, right? So, and you see that picture of Forrest Gump when he's trying to get on the bus and everybody's saying seats taken. It's like, well, you can sit here if you want. It provides that emotion. And so that's what I think provides a great effective message, knowing why you're putting it out there and trying to get the feeling that you want to evoke in somebody who actually sees the message.
Yeah, I'm in the process now of pulling that up for our YouTube viewers. I will find it eventually. And oh, here it is. So I'm pulling it up now. Let me see if it'll come up on here. So you can see seats taken. You can sit here if you want. Jenny's sweet little voice. So Triple Threat's our Jenny. Who's our Jenny with his sweet little voice. You can sit here if you want. All right, Squid, that's kind of the same question tossed over your way. What makes an effective message that you put out there? What do you think are the keys to an effective message?
And I think to Triple Threat's point, it kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're just trying to get some traffic, guys love to share, a GIF, a picture or something. If you're trying to get a little more personal about stuff, they're always happy to kind of share their story. If you're just trying to stir people up, you can always raise the question of whether a burpee has to have a clap or not. There's plenty of things that you can float out there that are quick to stir controversy, but also trying to make sure that, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get the attention to people that haven't seen it before and don't understand what F3 is? Or are you trying to get these regions, like you said, some of these that are new to to social media and trying to put some stuff out there so they feel like they can participate and catch that notice from the other regions. And you get people being able to post downrange just because they're like, oh, hey, I saw a post because from somewhere that I've got a business trip. I didn't realize they had F3 over there. And so they show up. Or some of those you get enough attention because they start getting enough traffic, then somebody's M sees it. And they're like, hey, there's this workout thing there. It doesn't cost anything. Why don't you go try it? And so, yeah, there's a lot of different messages that come across there. And yeah, pay attention to the audience and the specific task that you're trying to accomplish with that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to get there. But Triple Threat said it a whole lot better than I did.
I'll tell you, the two of you guys both do something really great that a lot of regions have duplicated, and that you've offered things like polls or memes. They grab the attention. Tell me, I know that Squid, you're big on the polls. You'll put out there, 4 different choices that someone can take. What kind of, when you look at the amount of clicks on that, what tends to get all those clicks? Is it the polls? Is it the memes? Is it an inspirational message? What do you see the most interaction with based on your experience on the Twitter side? What are you seeing the most of? What's drawing attention?
The memes definitely get a lot of attention. And like was said earlier, those get shared around and passed all over the place. So that's always a great opportunity. Guys love the chance to be creative, to be a little bit snarky, to be funny, to get those things put out there. And it gives us a chance to highlight the people of the other regions. But yeah, the polls are also, it's pretty interesting. It doesn't have to be anything grand or anything epic that goes up on a poll. You can put about anything out there, and guys love to give their opinion. That's what we do, right? And so those tend to be, I think you get more interaction out of the poll because it's easy. It's just a quick click as they're scrolling through. If you're asking for a meme or something like that, it takes a little more time for guys to be creative. But I think the turnaround on the meme, the reach is probably further because it's the one that'll get shared and sent out a little more.
So Triple Threat, I noticed since you're an Instagram guy, you have to do all the hashtags that the rest of us, we don't have to keep our hashtag game up on its top level. But in Instagram, I mean, you're on those hashtags. How are you getting your message in front of, when you are from the nation, when you're representing the nation, how does that kind of work its way into all the other regions? How are guys finding your messages? How are you generating that traffic?
Okay, so when it comes to hashtags, I mean, really it's trying to find out so if I'm like, because it really takes a long time to put together like a good post, and I make a lot of mistakes along the way. But if I'm putting in hashtags, I'm trying to target a certain person who's going to actually look for that in their hashtag. Is it servant leader or servant leadership? Things like that somebody might say, hey, this is what I'm looking for on Instagram. Of course, when everybody who in the nation should be using that hashtag F3 Nation hashtag for everything that they do F3, because that generates more traffic whenever somebody wants to know more about what F3 Nation does through Instagram or through Facebook. So definitely, I want everybody in the nation who posts social media to use hashtag F3 Nation.
So what is our official Instagram? What is our handle on Instagram?
So our official handle is F3 Nation _ official.
Our official is underscore. Yeah. That
genius.
We are top-notch thinkers. I'll tell you that much. Squid, what is our official F3 Nation Twitter account?
It's at F3 Nation, so a little simpler to remember.
Good deal. So I'll ask you guys one more question. We've talked about things that have worked. We've talked about engagement, how to get guys engaged, how groups can find us. What are the things that you avoid? And are they the same things you avoid at the Thanksgiving table with your extended family? What are those areas when you're speaking from an official, not just your personal account, but from the nation's account or from your region's account? Squid, what are the things that you want to avoid? And then I'll ask the same thing of Triple Threat. So Squid, what do we want to avoid when we're putting out a message from the nation?
Yeah, anything really that could be seen as a personal opinion, a personal idea, it's not the place for that. When you're speaking on, even making a comment, careful what you're liking from an official handle. You really want to pay attention. Even like if you're scrolling through the feed, there are certain things that will pop up that you want to be careful. And yeah, it is. It's the same stuff that you're cautious of at the dinner table at Thanksgiving. You're not going to go out and promote or retweet some political post. There's a lot of stuff there that you want to be careful, because that F3 Nation handle is the nation, and so anything that comes from that, whether it's a retweet or just a simple like, is by default, that's the nation. And so, you definitely want to be very thoughtful about the things that either you're putting in a post or the things that you're connecting the nation to. And if it's, your region, if you're going to make a comment for your region, your handle, if you're the COMZ guy, you want to be careful there. And there's nothing wrong with having a personal opinion. Switch over to your personal Twitter account and fire away. That's your business. But always double check which handle you're firing from.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience, because from experience, I have more than once spoken about the Carolina Panthers from the wrong account. So I've had to be real cognizant about which account I'm under.
You go delete it real quick and switch over, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
and sometimes
that's exactly why I
make
blocked Italian Job on Twitter, because I don't want to hear about the Panthers anymore. So
hey, I'll tell you, I learned early on that my reach was a little bit further than I expected, and so when I was real heavy on my sports tweets, I got a lot of guys saying, "Yeah, I stopped following you." So I don't talk about the Panthers anymore on social media because people stopped listening. I had to tailor my messages because people just saw me as a disgruntled fan. So I completely get that. Triple Threat, what would you add to the things that you would want to avoid?
Number one, political messages. And I have a perfect example, case in point. So, I decided to try to make a funny meme. It was the fake news one where you have a CNN reporter, in front of a fire saying that this is a mostly peaceful protest, right? I thought it was kind of funny, but it's really, divisive. And then plus, whenever the meme was re-released, it was during the Afghan withdrawal, and I always try to make fun of Iron Packs. Like, Iron Packs is mostly easy, right? Which absolutely everybody knows. It's one of the most terrible workouts that you can do for the entire year. And I thought it was kind of funny. But I saw like some people like unfollowed us, and then other people were complaining, especially like vets who actually went to Afghanistan. So I'm going to absolutely 100% avoid anything politically divisive. You don't want to use a meme that's been used in a politically divisive manner, like the NPC memes or Pepe the Frog or Chad or Giga Chad. Nothing of that sort, because really we want to show that we're open to all men. That's all men of any sort of views and beliefs. Really, we just want to get guys to post and learn about us and give us an opportunity to learn about them. Because, whenever I go and I post out in the gloom, I meet guys all sorts of different views. And for them to have a relationship with me, it deepens my understanding about humanity, because, I might not have that opportunity to talk to somebody who is politically on the other side if I'm, if I'm just only hanging out with my, current circle of friends that I grew up with or my family. So I really want to make it a more inviting environment on social media for everybody, and invite them out.
I think that's excellent feedback. Tommy Boy, I know that you have beliefs that your local region sometimes give you a hard time about, certain things that you believe about equality, and there are things that you and I support 100%. However, are there certain areas that you think outside of politics, are there any areas you would add to that list of, let's not talk about this from an official standpoint, let's instead have a cup of coffee and talk about it in person?
Yeah, that's probably like 6 more podcasts, right? However, I will say this. I hope I underscore what Squid and Triple Threat shared from a nation's comms standpoint. Just like anything, for anybody that is looking to do something different, hey, maybe I should start this workout, or I've been thinking about a way to invigorate guys. I'm going to do this thing. If it abides by our mission, if it meets our mission, I should say, and if it abides by our credo and our 5 core principles, you're not going to break F3. And any high impact man who has the wherewithal to pause and reflect before they hit tweet or before they become a keyboard quarterback, that's the high impact man I want to be around, because that's the guy not only I can have an open conversation with, but I can also openly disagree with without being disagreeable. That's exactly the space and the man that we're trying to build in F3. F3 is not a political venture. F3 is not a religious venture. F3 is not follow these rules in order to be what we want you to be. There is no we, right? And there is a we, but there definitely is no you. So there's no we that you have to subscribe to or succumb to. It's we want you to be the best man that you can be. And look, I'm going to make this up. So let me rephrase this, or not rephrase it, repeat it. I'm going to make this up. Squid may need to be there as a father for a child that is special needs. I may need to be a 20-year-old college kid looking to share my ideas around technology to improve my community. Both of us should have a shared space to meet and digress and share and whatever the case may be. In better terms, related to this podcast, to communicate. And Squid may say, hey, I see you have some tech ideas. I have a special needs child. Again, I'm making this up. I'd love for you to tell me a little bit about your tech, and I'd like to improve it because I have a child that could benefit if you only made these changes. Or right, when we talk about politics, because it's on the table right now, and that's near and dear to my heart. I don't believe in Duke versus Carolina politics. Wait Time out of F3 Omaha, who I love sincerely and deeply, once shared with me that he believed that if you're not with me, you're against me. And then F3 changed that mindset. And that was through communication, which is what we're talking about today. And he has gone on to be a part of the birth of a huge region in F3. And the only way he did that was to succumb to his beliefs and open it up to everyone's beliefs. And the guy is just a freaking genius in such a way that he could find a space to combine all those thoughts. So what we do when we communicate is open doors, but it also has the power to close doors. So I will close by saying this. Be very cognizant of the fact of, are you abiding by our core values and our credo? And are you honoring to solve the mission? Because the mission exists because a problem exists and we're here to fix it. We want to build virtuous leaders. So man, I made that really way too big perhaps, but I love that you two guys are here because, you know, when it comes to Triple Threat, when it comes to Squid, the click of your keyboard is reaching the ear of a guy, and the ear of a guy can be influenced. And I love the fact that you guys are simply drilling down to what's important, and what's important is virtues. And that's what you're putting out there. Like some dude somewhere is like, man, what if we did a thing where it just made guys better? And you're like, okay, let me send it out to the masses because, you know, you, Tommy Boy in Greensboro, have 64 followers, but we could turn that 64 into 64,000, right? I mean, that's the mission we're on. And all of a sudden, 64,000 others are like, I am going to tell my wife that I love her. I am going to hug my kids for 5 extra seconds and tell them these 5 seconds are a gift from me to you, right? So go do that. And I'll hashtag that all day.
If I'm not mistaken, I saw
it's back to you.
Came through. I think I saw a tweet earlier this week that talked about the amount of people we reach, you know, the average person. And Squid, was this your message? Do you have those numbers or kind of a rough order of magnitude we can share with the nation?
Yeah, just I happen to see that the average Twitter account is followed by over 700 people. If you take out the celebrities and take out the larger accounts, then that still goes down to several hundred people per Twitter account. And so with F3 Nation, we've got 12.7 thousand people following the nation. And so one post reaches 12.7 thousand people who then have several hundred followers each that see that one post if they share it. So, or if they interact with it or whatever, the way the algorithms work. So don't ever underestimate the power of a single tweet. We had Cape Fear the other day, right? So an incredible story out of there. There was a news piece done on them. F3 Nation had the ability to be tagged in that or retweet that or whatever that is. And now you have a post on Twitter with F3 Nation that is connected to this news media station that has far more followers than F3 Nation could hope to have, a positive message reflecting the work that is being done in Cape Fear specifically, but also across the nation and in countries around the world now. So you have this message that is shared and talking about, the diversity and trying to spread our message. Well, yeah, the nation accounts can post, and most of the people that are going to be attached to the F3 Nation Twitter handle are going to be F3 Nation guys, F3 Nation regions, or our peers, right? Well, now if we get tied to a local media station or Art of Manliness, our interview through there got put out lately. So there's the diversity and the reach there is far greater than what we even have, but it starts with that single connection. And so your posts, your creativity, these hype videos that a lot of our regions create are phenomenal. Those can't be overstated. Those are absolutely imperative. Some of these high quality videos that are being put out, they are getting spread everywhere. And so I would encourage the guys, keep creating content, because we are happy to take what you've done, copy it, and share it.
I totally agree that the willingness to be vulnerable will validate many, many, many men. I love that you brought up Cape Fear, because that has been shared and reshared and reposted across F3 Greensboro a lot, because somebody had the audacity to say, yup, and this is how I do it, and I love these men. And if guys, if you're listening and have not seen that newscast, please go search F3 Cape Fear news story and watch what happens when a man's heart is unlocked and allowed the space to be honest. And then see how many men would rally around that man just to share and to have an impact on what he believes in. So if you think you have a good idea, you probably do. And if it abides by the mission, and if it adheres to the mission, and if it honors and solves our core principles and our credo, then please tag on Twitter at F3 Nation, and please tag on Instagram at F3 Nation _official, because somebody out there who has never heard of F3 will see that on their timeline, or see that on their feed, and be like, man, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And I'll even get deep. Somebody out there is thinking about, they don't matter. And your tweet, your Instagram post, your Facebook post, whatever, if it's not braggadocious, right? Maybe it is braggadocious. I don't care. But in some way, shape, or form, it's going to hit a guy who needs to see that post that day, because we've all seen too many awful stories of dudes that checked out, that, they made a permanent decision for a temporary problem. Well, F3 is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So tag, because somebody out there that you may or may not know that is following you, or as my mom would say, somebody who is watching you, that will matter to them. So guys, I applaud it. And IJ, I can't thank you enough for making this connection happen.
Well, again, Squid, Triple Threat, thank you guys for what you're doing for the nation. I'm glad that we can kind of introduce you to the guys. You're behind the scenes. You never get the accolades. You never get the credit. And I hope this is the first step for guys to say, so you're the face. You're the guy. So thank you for what you're doing. Tommy boy, I'm going to go and close it out with a message that we received this week. And then if you don't mind taking the challenge worth trying. So let me share with you guys something that came in this week. If you recall, last week we talked to Sunshine in San Francisco. Sunshine was telling us about an FNG challenge that they have going on at the city, as what they call themselves out there. And this is the message that came through this week. Wanted to share a note. Good afternoon, men of F3. My name is Josh Hall, aka Big Bird. I'm from the upstate of South Carolina in the Spartanburg area. My AO is the Eye of the Tiger, TYGER. We meet in a park called Tiger River Park. I'm pretty new to F3 and very new to listening to the podcast, but I've been very inspired by the culture and the mission of F3. I posted an AO that's been around a long time before me, but averages about 10 guys per workout. I love my brothers in the AO, but would love to see more guys in the group and grow to influence even more men. I was listening to the podcast recently about the FNG challenge out in San Fran, and I couldn't shake the feeling that even though I'm the newest and the youngest in my packs, I should challenge them with my own FNG challenge. So I sent this in the day, and I'm super excited to kick it off. I wanted to reach out to you and let you know I really appreciate all that you're doing for F3 in the podcast world, and I hope that one South Carolina man's story is being inspiring to other men and being encouragement. Thank you for all that you do. And he put out Big Bird's FNG challenge. Who can bring more FNGs, Big Bird or everyone else in the AO combined? If Big Bird wins, the first week of March will include a 30-minute run before each workout. If the field wins, Big Bird will cue the first workout of March barefoot in an invisible shirt with no gloves allowed, and Big Bird will provide PLC and donuts at the COT. Additionally, the packs who brings the most FNGs in the months of January and February will win a $25 Longhorn Steakhouse gift card. So I say all that to say Big Bird had no idea that there was an FNG challenge going on in San Francisco, California. Had it not been for the fact that Sunshine put it on social media. Sunshine took it from social media, got it to the COT podcast where we heard about it, and we had Sunshine on the podcast, and it all filters down to now the youngest and member of this AO in Spartanburg, South Carolina has said, I like the cut of his jib. I'm going to do the same thing. I want to take that challenge to my guys. And it all started because one guy had an idea and put it out on social media. So to bring it all around full circle, you got the idea, put it out there, because we call this the stuff worth trying because one guy tried something and it worked. So this stuff is worth trying. If it fails, hey, if it doesn't work, you learn from it. But if it does work, you've got a guy 2,500 miles away who decides that he's going to pick up the ball and roll with it. That's what it's all about. So Tommy boy, challenge worth trying this week. What are you thinking?
Yep. Well said, brother. If you're not failing, you're not trying. So keep trying. So this week's challenge worth trying is twofold. First, just say thanks to the guy who may be running your nation's comms. If you have a regional comms guy, just please reach out to that guy because it's a thankless job because it shows up in your email whenever it shows up in your email if you have a newsletter. Tell him thank you because he's taking time out of his day away from his family, perhaps. And he does it not because he has to, but because he wants to. So say thank you to that dude. And if you don't have a comms guy, the challenge, ironically, is not to be that guy, although it kind of is. The challenge is find a way to reach down into your gut and share what you're doing. Tell the region that you're involved with the good things that are happening. because that's what validates men to do more and more and more. So that blood drive becomes that food drive, becomes that fundraiser, becomes the life-changing, community-changing impetus that affects and invigorates your community, which is exactly what our mission is. So if you find a need, fill a need. So let me repeat it because it's worth repeating. If you have a comms guy, thank that dude because he's doing really great things. If you don't, find a need to fill a need and communicate it well. We know the rules because we just heard them from two great guys who are doing it. You know, I say nationwide, but let's be honest, universe-wide. They are the voice of the F3 universe. And all they beg and ask for is for you to share what you're doing in your nation and your region, because that's what people want to hear. Nothing brings a crowd like a crowd. So be the crowd of positive change. IJ, Triple Threat, Squid, AKA Seaman. Love you guys. Can't thank you enough for being here. In all seriousness, thank you for providing for not only being a voice, but for providing a voice for other men. Because at the end of the day, I believe we all just want to be heard, and you guys are allowing the platform for that. And because of that, dudes are doing dynamic things. So T-claps, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll do it again next week. Squid, Tommy Boy, thank you all for the time this afternoon. To the listener, keep sending us some ideas. If you have some great ideas that you want shared, it's stuff worth trying. And if it's worth trying, it's worth sharing. So let us know and we'll share it out there. But thanks again, men. Enjoyed the time today, and we'll talk again soon. Take it easy, fellas.